Am I up? This is working. Oh, it is. Hello. Okay. Let me start some Shimoine's VRC6 collection from Ryan Landry. So I figured out some of my audio problems from last time. So I should be able to listen to this playback. But actually, first thing first, let me turn up my playback in my ear. I can hear myself speaking. It's driving me crazy. Better. Now I'm not going crazy. So from the last time I did this last week, so this is where I was last week. Just putting down thumbnails, rough images of Baloo, and I now have the playback audio. In there, baby. You know something? This is nectar of the gods. So that's where I'm going with it. That's the thumbnails I did. And even from the last stream over the course of the week, I've changed a lot of these acting choices. They're not quite the same. They're not quite the same as they were. So I altered a lot of stuff and changed some of the timing on some of it too, changed some of the acting choices, like I said. And I've also gone into now maybe just tying things in a bit more. So this is where I'm at with these poses. And that's as far as I got. Maybe I spent today maybe an hour or so. Maybe an hour and a half just kind of tweaking this pose. Doing that overshoot. Did that overshoot today. And this one a little bit too. Muzzle might be a little thick right there. One of the things I find really interesting. Oh, and I also broke down the audio track too in my X sheet. So I have a nice breakdown of when all of the dialogue happens. So that I did all this over the course of the week, and that's where I'm at right now. The other thing I did too, if no one was able to hear it anyway in the playback from last week, is that I cut back a lot of the audio. The audio was taken from Phil Harris and Dean Martin on the Dean Martin show. I don't know the date. It was probably late 50s or maybe early 60s. And there's a whole section of where the whole bit is that Dean Martin and Phil Harris are having this quote-unquote tea time. And it's heavily implied that the tea has booze. They're drinking whiskey or something from the teacups. But there was a whole section of where Dean Martin kind of interjects. So I cut that whole set, and I had that in there originally, but I cut it out because it was kind of dragging a bit long. So I decided just to have Baloo reach down. Where's my thumbs? Reaches down, grabs the tea. Now I'm probably going to make it like a coconut shape. Just to fit in with the whole Jungle Book aesthetic. And then he'll take a sniff. You know something? This smells like this is nectar of the gods. Takes a sip. D. Martin is still in there. You can still hear a little. What is it? He says. What is? Because he has a cigarette in his mouth, so it's kind of hard to hear. Orange Pico, 1959. That was a very good year. So these are my acting choices that I feel like I'm more or less settled on. Like I said, I changed a lot of this. Wasn't overly happy with some of the stuff I did before, and now I'm just kind of going through the process of tying things down and bringing things up a little bit more on the speed. Pascal came back. How you doing? Good to see you again. How you been? Good to see you. How you been? I figured out my audio issues. I had to just set XSplit to play back the system sounds. One of the things that's kind of funny here, I'm gonna get rid of my X sheet right now. I'll pull in my model. I'm gonna pull in my model sheets. So it's funny. These model sheets were all taken largely from, all of them actually are taken from Andreas's book, Nine Old Men. These are actually animation drawings. The funny thing about these is that these are done. This particular one is done by Ollie. It's actually funny too. This little ooh mouth. This is Frank Thomas, and as on Andreas's website, he has a bunch of stuff from Milt Kahl, which I wanted to add into my model sheet as well, but never got around to it. But there's such a wide-ranging difference between how Baloo is portrayed. Milt has a very angular sensibility in terms of how he, like Milt Well, for example, right here, this little bump, I think I talked about it at length in my last stream. This little bump here on the bridge of his Baloo snout. Frank has it, you know, a nice, you can see it right here in this angle. But it's, I mean, gee, if it's not, I wouldn't even say it's there at all on Ollie's, and forget about it. And Milt's, I mean, comes right off the bridge of the nose and has a really sharp point and goes into a really sharp nose. Sometimes not even really showing the side of it, more or less the top of the nose, and then we'll just drop down. And even the bottom of the jaw, Milt will do the bottom of the jaw differently. Whereas look at this roundness here of Ollie's. So the other thing too is the treatment of the hands. That's another thing I'm starting to wrestle with on this particular pass here. Again, Ollie has things more rounded, and he has each of these individual claws all separated out, and the pads of his paws are very rounded. Whereas Milt, you know, he treated him like fists sometimes. You know, he would, you know, some of the scenes he did where he's like, I jabbed him with the right and I swung whatever when Mowgli was stolen from him. He would treat the paws like hands almost. I mean, where again, like Frank Thomas is somewhere in the middle. You know, you could. This is a Frank Thomas, I believe, rough. Which I liked using this in when I was doing the thumbnails. I liked keeping this as a reference for inspiration. But look how simple they're, kind of like floppy little. Also thinner too. Like look how thin the arms are treated. Whereas this is an Ollie Johnson, like a triangular shape. Whereas again, if Milt was doing Baloo, like so, this shoulder going into the paw. So you can imagine this is the paw, this is our elbow, this is our shoulder. More or less of a triangular shape, tapering. Whereas Milt would get into the anatomy of it. Whoops. So he would have shoulder going into a really clearly defined, like forearm, I think. You know what I mean? So it's kind of tough going between the three of these guys and finding out what is the best model. What are the right choices to make here? Good to hear from you. You have a question. Have you ever thought about online courses or mentorships? You know, Pascal, I have actually given that thought about doing that kind of stuff with maybe even opening a Patreon for that. Honestly, a lot of it is time. You know, I have a Ko-fi account, which you can see the little button down there. I have that set up for right now, just to help maybe generate a little bit of income or something that from all these tutorials that I do. Oh, it's so funny. Look, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm looking at the stream, and the image is flopped in the stream, and I'm seeing a mistake. I'm back into my Harmony now. You know, it's a matter of time, honestly. I work full-time, I animate full-time, and I freelance. Right now I'm kind of on a break from freelance, which is why I'm actually doing more of this type stuff. So it's a matter of time. And then I do teach Harmony at SVA in New York City. So right now I'm on break from that as well. That's why I have the time for this. You know, Pascal, just give me a follow if you could on Twitter. You know, I'm pretty active on Twitter. Maybe if any of that ever happens to come to fruition, maybe you would be aware of it. So getting back to what I was saying, what I saw, maybe I have his neck a little too thick here. Maybe I should taper off a little bit. You know, just looking at these poses. You know, I have a nice rounded piece here. So maybe I could even take, you know, maybe just this piece and insert it a little more like that. Maybe just pull this a little more tapering. So that it's a little more tapered. So the little trick is a mirror. You know, there's a button here in Harmony. You can mirror your view. So anytime you mirror something, suddenly you see all the mistakes. So a little button up here, mirror view. I even have it set to a hotkey, Control-0. But if I think I do that right now, I'll turn my stream off. So I gotta make sure I don't do that. So that's where I'm at with this. I'm just sitting here plugging in. So my next pose I think I would hit probably is, look at my X sheet. Isn't there, baby? Yeah, he's reaching down, so he's not really saying. There's no dialogue here. I can keep his mouth shut or close. Oh no, I got ahead of myself. Where's my thumbnail? Yeah, so he's pronouncing a th. So maybe an open mouth here. And again, kind of the visual cheat a little bit as he's reaching off screen for some. You know, something's down there. You know, like a stool or something. You know, is down here off screen. We can't see it. That's how I'm going to introduce the T. Get him a little more 3/4 in this pose. Even stretch his head out a little bit. So do this. Or, stretch his neck out. I have this arm, my thumbnail, kind of overlapping his body. I don't know if I like that anymore. Maybe the arm should just be up here a little bit. I want something to kind of give him a little bit of counterweight as he reaches down. Is there, baby? Okay. Giving him hair on the shoulder. I'm not sure if that's really on model or not either, to be honest with you. The other thing too, I'm making an assumption that there's a character off screen over here. His eye line will always be somewhere over here. That's where our Dean Martin character would be, who I am not including in this. If you're just joining me, I'm doing some Baloo the bear, animating some Baloo. Um, I'll be animating him for about an hour or so. Not even. Less than that. I got a little bit of quiet time in the house. My wife took the kids down to the town pool, so it will be a little quiet time to work. But I'll be happy to answer any of your questions, especially harmony stuff. One of my other things I pick up too is I make this space here, I make that too short. I'll often put the bottom of the nose and I only look a little tiny division. It's actually much larger than what I make it. Let's get these cheeks in there. I also have a habit of making his cheeks way too big. Yeah, I used to draw Baloo all the time when I was younger. But I realized in recent months that I never really actually animated him. That's not true. I did. I did a little bit of animation with him when I was young. Would not consider it counted really as anything worthwhile. Like in the 5th grade or something silly. I'd like to do this to help push my skills a little bit and Oh, I know what I can do. This can just be a little foreshortened like this. I don't like the way the hand's falling over there. I don't like that overlap. And I think I want the hand to come up like a, you can see that paw. And again, I'm still on the fence about how to handle these paw because they're so radically different between the different animators and how they fix this. How they depict it. Ear out of this particular drawing like that. Fix this. Mm-hmm. As I can hear my son playing some online game, and he's just not winning. Let's put it that way. I can hear a lot of commotion going on. This all needs to be pushed in a little bit more. Something like that. Keeps his cheek structure. Sometimes I also have a habit of making like, I'll put that way over there. It's like kind of coming off of his face. Feels a little better. Dun, 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 dun. I also have a habit of making the eyes too far apart. Next time I go up on a stream, I might just play instead of chip tunes. I love chip tunes, but the reason I do it is because typically not going to get dinged by any sort of YouTube algorithm. What I might play next time is Milt Call giving a talk. And boy, oh boy, is he is a character. Let's see. Let's get the Keith in there. There we go. It feels a little bit more. But too graphic. And by graphic, I mean I don't want to see harsh angles or anything like that. Let's mark this as a keyframe. Let's move along. What's my next? He has it and he's going to smell it. Pull our onion skin up for this one. The other thing with this particular pose, I want to take his nose and stick it in there. Just kind of shoving his nose in there. Not really sure how to. So, I probably need to figure out exactly what the heck this container is. Which again, I think is just going to be something like this, or it's like a coconut with the top of it, kind of like you expect to see like a tropical type drink coming out of it. Maybe you would, you know, something like that. Mm-hmm. And the other thing I did too, I moved some of the hand placement. So at some point, he picks it up with this hand, and then he switches it over to this hand. So at some point, there's going to be a little bit of a juggle. Don't know how much I'm loving the angle on this. Come up a little bit too. He centers off slightly. Just trying that. So I don't really love this interaction with the nose. So we're going to have to figure something out here. shoving his nose into this cup. Let's keep moving forward a little bit with some tie downs. Well, not some tie downs, but some roughs. By no means are these tie downs. Where's the drink? Points at it. It's like, you know something? This is nectar of the gods. No. It's like one claw. And the other ones can be maybe grouped like that. You know something? This is nectar of the gods. Sort of losing a little bit of the shape of his body a little bit. Get that ooh mouth model. This. Ooh. Look, it's so slight, that little break in the nose. I mean, it's like barely there. Do, 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 do. And yes, this is my theme song to my, or is one of my, no, is it? For my demo reel. What's different between the animators is sometimes they have a really hard break right there in his ear. Not with Ollie. Ollie keeps it really rounded. I think my Baloo is going to fall somewhere between all three of the guys who worked on him. Shoulder. That. Jeez, his arms are getting chunky. Oh. Trouble with this right here. You can play him a little more 3/4, something like that. Yeah, I love this drawing whatsoever, but additionally, what I need to do is preserve this. This is his body. This is the hand overlap, and the forearms tucks behind everything else. The shoulders could be up a little bit because he's kind of sniffing. Maybe the shoulder placement here is not fantastic. Maybe it could come up a little higher. There's also the scene where Mowgli smacks him in the nose, and lots of really fun things happen to his nose. It really wrinkles and crinkles up, you know? So a lot of fun play. Baloo's nose. I don't know if anyone follows a guy on Twitter named a graph editor. A graph editor. He's supposed to be the embodiment of the graph editor in Maya. And the other day he tweeted, animation is just you sighing repeatedly until you finally are done working on the scene. And it's true because that's just what I did right now. I'm like, I'm just sighing as I work on this. I thought that was funny. Yeah, Max, what can I do for you? All right, go back upstairs. I'll be up in a second, okay?
Oh, I said I don't know what to do.
All right.
YouTube videos?
Maybe.
Your live stream?
Maybe. I just turned my microphone off. Can you do me a favor, please, and give me a few minutes?
Okay. I'm just going to get a snack.
Oh, could you do me a favor and not do that? No. Fine, have a bar. Mortimer with a dab. What is that, a dab? What the heck is that? It's interesting, this shape. Try and replicate that. That so subtle. Elbow cough? Cool. Stick with that then. How about that? Is it copywritten? Someone owned the rights to the dab. One of my most popular videos I did is some shoot, the Go Noodle guys. What the heck for Go Noodle? Outhouse characters, and one of the notes was to have the characters do a dab. I forget which one it was. Lily, maybe. God Almighty, the constant comments on that one. Afternoons. He's got his mouth open. Nectar. Mm-hmm. Okay. Losing some of the volume here on this arm. Look at this versus this. That's a problem. Mm-hmm. 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 Be nice to have his hand kind of point, get into the in-betweens. You know, I don't. I have him turning away here. He suddenly faces this way. Yeah. See, I'm not happy about that either. I still change that. I might just keep him still three that way. Face our invisible Dean Martin character that's off screen. Save. Yeah. Ah. All right. Oh, looks like my kids are back home. Probably not the end of the stream. because they like to scream. That's what they do. But I got a pretty good amount done here. Trying to maybe I have it a little too high. Well, I'm gonna hang out. That's enough for today. Thanks, guys.
Hello? Hello? Where's Dad?
I'm right here. I have my headphones on.